Hello everybody, it's your boy N here. I'm coming at you guys with another YouTube video. So the patch notes for hotfix 1.2.23 have just been released, and I want to tell you already that this is a major update. Now, the biggest thing, as you saw in the title of this video, is Perforator meta is going to return, and xAlisa's Devotion meta may very well possibly become a thing. With Nell's ability to take advantage of weak points, the Perforator has gone from a 2.25 multiplier up to a 5.5 multiplier. Just for reference, the Malevolent has a 2.5 times multiplier. Along with Nell's grouping abilities, this is going to be absolutely insane when it comes to damaging and ripping everything apart with Nell specifically. And the damage on the Perforator's unique ability has also been doubled, so Perforator is more or less kind of confirmed, along with the fact that you can build for weak point damage, and then you can also throw 3 fire rate cores on this weapon, or 2 fire rates and a rounds per mag. We're basically kind of guaranteed insane Perforator meta, so that is going to be something that's very interesting. Along with that, the xAlisa's Devotion kind of has the same treatment. We do have Toxic on here, and then we also have 1.7 up to 5.19 weak point damage as well, which is insane. Now, the Devotion, having Toxic means you can build it for Toxic, and this is going to slap in Purge 35. The worst thing about this is that Nexon keeps shifting meta with weapon changes like this, at a time where people who care about leaderboards are essentially suffering because their runs are almost already capped, and then the meta changes a week before the leaderboards are about to end, and then we have to rework our weapons, understand how to use them, maximize them, and then we try for a leaderboard time again. I do agree with the meta changes for the most part, but I think that this has come at a very strange time. Now bear in mind, this is in the demo. Oh, sorry, not Purge 35, Purge Challenge 5. My bad, sorry about that. But, yeah, I think this comes at an odd time, but if this is only for Season 3 and not applied to the game now, then it's whatever. It at least gives you a very clear heads up as to which weapons to build. Now, on the topic of the weapon rebalance anyways, I've got a few thoughts about it. First of all, the Final Masterpiece buff. This is something that was kind of needed, but this isn't big enough of a buff in my opinion to make this weapon worth it, and the effects on this weapon are even worse than the Relic currently, or the last time I used it, so there's still a very 50-50 regarding this weapon anyways. The damage on here has been nicely buffed, and weak point has basically been added, if not buffed, on everyone and everything. So that's a pretty big thing as well. Python has more damage, cool, Excava. Legacy's got more weak point and more fire. It's sad because it would have been cooler if they fixed the cores on this and made it crit viable or something like that. Thundercage basically got double damage as well, which is nice. Fallen Hope, this is another interesting one. Fallen Hope might actually become quite viable. With a multi-hit setup on Fallen Hope, shout out to my legend, the Full Measure, for pushing this forward. Absolutely love him. King of a guy. He pushed this he pushed the idea of a Fallen Hope forward, and with this buff, a multi-hit on the Fallen Hope might actually become quite viable, and this might seem like a fairly good setup to run with Fallen Hope, especially with Freyna. So this is something that I think a lot of people are going to want to gamble with. Next up, Divine Punishment's also got some damage increases. I think this is okay, but not really the best. For some reason, the Albion Cavalry gun, despite being one of the best guns in the game already, kind of got buffed too. More crit rate and additional damage overall, and attribute damage has been increased. Someone in my Twitch chat mentioned to me that because of stat changes and stuff like that through calculators and all that sort of stuff, we've calculated, or they've calculated, that the cavalry gun may be better than the last dagger for Serena, which is crazy. So cavalry gun might even come back a little touch to say. We'll have to experiment with that. Secret Garden, just more weak point. Kingsguard Lance, this is a really good buff. I'm a massive fan of this buff because this means that ambush Sharon, especially with the Kingsguard Lance, shout out plain or simple, the best Sharon player in the game at the moment. He's going to have a field day with this, and I really look forward to seeing how much more he can optimize his Purge challenge time with Sharon, especially with this damage buff on the Kingsguard. Clairvoyance, this is going to be a sweet buff for Viessa, and Voltia overall is going to have a fairly nice all-around buff, quite a big amount of attribute increase over there, as well as multi-hit being slightly increased, but attribute is going to be good, so you can technically build a damage version of the Voltia. Devotion and Perforator we've gone over. Peacemaker is more so a stat stick, but if you put a few modules for damage around it, this will actually be quite nice for popping bubbles and stuff as well, so this is going to be fun too. Wave of Light, this is an interesting buff. The weapon itself was already fairly capable. Giving it a little bit of extra damage and a little bit more weak point is just setting it up for Nell, I think specifically. Blue Beetle, same thing. It's an okay buff. Frost Watcher. Now this one is the first buff I actually have a problem with. With the Frost Watcher being as weak as it is, I don't think they've done enough for it. The Frost Watcher is a very... it's a very weak weapon compared to everything else we have in this game, and even the snipers being buffed for just weak point, I think lacks. Compared to what we have in the game, that being the ATAMs, I think that this is not going to be enough to bring these two snipers back, and they're essentially just going to live as mastery fodder. Now, another very, very big problem I have with this as well is the fact that the Hammer and Anvil is nowhere to be seen on this list. And the Last Dagger and the Restored Relic, they totally need buffs. Jokes aside, Restored Relic and Dagger are already insane. Please don't touch them, Nexon, if you're watching this. But Hammer and Anvil needs a rework, man. Hammer and Anvil needs more love. As far as it goes, that is basically one of, if not the worst weapons in this game. And it's insane to see how the Excava got buffed, a DLC weapon or a Battle Pass weapon got buffed, and even the Sigvor's proof is nowhere on here. You're buffing the weapons that people use, but please, for the love of God, buff the Hammer and Anvil, because it's nowhere to be seen on this list. But the biggest thing I think that is gonna be coming is gonna be this over here. The Excava is a good weapon, but it's a Battle Pass weapon, focusing on Sigvor, which is also a Battle Pass weapon. Just please buff the Hammer and Anvil before I get lost in my thoughts. At the same time here, these two weapons here, the Devotion and the Perforator, are the biggest buffs in the game so far. This weak point meta with Nell is going to go crazy. I just hope that in the demo we can mess around with builds and put catalysts on, because I'm eagerly looking forward to testing the builds I theory crafted with Nell and seeing how crazy they go. So yeah, that's going to be fun. But that's basically been this quick video, just talking about the weapon buffs and what I think. A lot of them are good, and we are also going to get access to, where is it again? The Eraser and Exterminator. So those are the Battle Pass weapon, I believe, for the upcoming Battle Pass, and a new ult weapon. So that's going to be fun, and yeah. That's basically been this video, guys. I hope you've enjoyed. Make sure to sign up and pre-register for the Season 3 demo, even if it is already out. Make sure to try it, make sure to survey it, and you'll get yourself a free catalyst for dropping a survey review as well. So, yeah. Stay blessed, everyone. Thank you guys for watching. Hope you've enjoyed. Smash that like button, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace!